what is most illogical of all is that even when it comes to the population, it still calls its own. The Kyiv regime does not retrieve the bodies of its own soldiers. It has now come to the point where, as of today, several specific pages with names have been officially published, those individuals whom the Russian side is currently asking the Ukrainian authorities to take back. What does this say? It shows that they are not just terrorists, but simply dehumanized. I don't even know how to put it. The terrorist attacks carried out by the Kyiv regime cannot be concealed. One can only close their eyes and turn away, and only then claim not to know, not to see, and so on. Blowing up railway tracks, sending kamikaze drones to civilian infrastructure targets, kindergartens, hospitals, emergency service stations, directly striking doctors and rescuers who are helping people affected by these terrorist attacks. How much more proof is needed? And what did representatives of the Kyiv regime do in the Kursk region? They tortured the civilian population. People were exterminated. They weren't just killed, they were tortured first. This happened on that very Kursk land, which had already been soaked in blood because of the Nazi and fascist occupation. Now, 80 years later, the very same things, and even worse, were done by representatives of the Kyiv regime to the civilian, I emphasize, population. As for the NATO countries, there have been no questions for a long time. This is their concept, as we have understood, and they do not hide it. But those who say they want to develop relations with Russia, who want to build a dialogue with our country, should ask themselves this question first and foremost. Not which side of the conflict are they on, but which side are they really on? The side of truth, and the truth is set out in the Nuremberg Tribunal, in its conclusions. Or are they on the side of neo-Nazism? Because neo-Nazism has trampled on the Nuremberg Tribunal, demolished all the monuments, exhumed the bodies of Red Army soldiers, and is still committing crimes against civilians and our country, similar to those of the Nazis. And what is most illogical of all is that even when it comes to the population, it still calls its own. The Kyiv regime does not retrieve the bodies of its own soldiers. It has now come to the point where, as of today, several specific pages with names have been officially published, those individuals whom the Russian side is currently asking the Ukrainian authorities to take back. What does this say? It shows that they are not just terrorists, but simply dehumanized. I don't even know how to put it. Just dehumanized. Is there going to be a dialogue with them? Are people going to sit at the same table with them? If people don't even retrieve the bodies of soldiers who were forcibly mobilized and thrown into this very hell, the way both the official representatives of Pyongyang and the everyday citizens of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea responded to our pain was truly remarkable. They not only empathized deeply with us during our difficult time, but also stood shoulder to shoulder with us, offering unwavering support and solidarity, fully understanding the gravity of what was happening and sharing in our experience. And they understand for one simple reason. They know their own history very well, both their own history, the history of their region, and of course, the history of World War II, which shows that in them we see true friends. And we will never forget this. I have seen people who were the most aggressively disposed toward our country, who discovered themselves and our country through Moscow, not just Moscow. Now, the St. Petersburg Forum is coming up. As always, we will receive another round of enthusiastic feedback. I just returned from Nizhny Novgorod. Foreign guests came there and saw Russia through Nizhny Novgorod. We have plenty of opportunities to open up our country. I think we ourselves just need to stop being surprised that we amaze people in such an incredible way. And what surprises them, they are surprised by, they actually fall victim to this ideology that is imposed on them by Western mass media, which, as some acquaintances of mine who recently came from Central Europe told me, push the narrative that supposedly there is nothing in Russia, no food, nothing to eat, everything is closed. And so to speak, that the so-called isolation has supposedly justified itself. And of course, when they arrive, they are shocked by what they see.